You know, the song says this is a man's world, but I'm telling you right now, it will be nothing, absolutely nothing without a woman. And that is what we are doing. Once again, episode 4 of our series on the celebration of women for the entire month of March. It's your boy, Willie Epting Jr., the gas bag extraordinaire, checking in. And we got some phenomenal ones lined up for you, ladies and gentlemen, out there this evening. So we're going to get to that here in just a moment. Let me see who we got. Let's see. We have Kimberly, we have Marisa, we have Natalie, we have Carolyn, and we have the one that's the better half of me. And that, of course, is Patrice. We're going to bring them in here in just a second. I already know that it's going to be a tear jerker. I've already told them that they have all authority to make me cry. And we're going to be real. And that's what we're going to do. And speaking of doing it, let's go right now. Yeah. It is that time again. We are celebrating women's history all over the globe. Willie Epting Jr. and Patrice, Carolyn, Natalie, and Kimberly are here. Let's go ahead and do an intro of each. Patrice Epting, of course, she is the brains behind the operation. Not really. She is the look, definitely the look behind the operation. That I'll give 110% to. And she is a phenomenal educator, a certified life coach, a deacon at the greatest church this side of heaven. And she's also my wife.
That would be me. Hi, everybody. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we are glad to have you. And you have the full legal authority to make me cry, but not the way that you normally do it. Okay. Up next, this woman of God is a powerful praying woman. Her heart of service is exceeded by nobody probably other than Jesus himself. She will get under your skin, and I like to call her my troubled twin, Carolyn Jones.
Hello, everybody, and yes, I am his troubled twin. Glad to be here.
Hey.
That is who she is, and she keeps me in line. I'm telling you right now. And I like to think I keep her in line as well, but we got that kind of relationship. Yep. All right, up next, this young lady I have known for about 12, 13, 14 years. I've seen her grow and mature from a blossoming young lady to a woman who knows exactly. Look, I'm going to tell you right now. She is the definition of balance. She knows what she wants, and she knows what steps to take that she needs to go and get it. She is on a weightlifting journey that I'll let her tell you guys about. It's my little sissy, Natalie G. Smith.
Hello, evening. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for that introduction.
Well, I don't do nothing but speak the real around here unless I'm talking to Patrice, in which case it might not be as real, but that's another show for another day. Okay, up next is another young lady who I have known for quite some time. We used to adjust claims together back in the day at AIG/21st Century, and we used to make jokes about how our paychecks may not be valid because if y'all remember back in 2009, AIG was bailed out by the government. So we were walking around saying our checks were going to bounce. But she now is a business owner. She is an entrepreneur. She is a business coach. She can do the heck out of some hair. And I'm going to bring her in right now. There she is in all her splendor.
That's
Kimberly
so funny.
Sylvan. What's up, Kim?
Hi, and thank you guys for having me. You're so funny.
Hey.
I do my best. And then last, but certainly not least, this young lady I have never had the privilege of meeting in real life. Just on Twitter. Just on Twitter. And to be truth be told, I have met so many wonderful people in social media, and she definitely is at the top of the list. She is the host. She is the host and founder of Heard That. I want to make sure I get it right, but if I didn't, she can come in and clean it up. And she is a dope content creator. She loves to help people. I have run out of superlatives, so I'm gonna let her tell you herself. Marisa Tigney, what's going on?
I mean, first y'all come with the banging intro music, and then you do these awesome introductions of all of us. I am so thrilled to be here. I appreciate the invitation and to be honored to be on the platform with incredible, powerful Black queens that are doing the dang thing. And Women's History Month is something special. So thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Epting. Appreciate it.
Welcome, welcome.
Well, you know, what can I say? All right.
All right, JJ.
You know what? I can, when I'm down, I watch a lot of good times. And I've been watching a lot of good times today. So I've been down, but I'm up now because you ladies are here and we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk the real, and then we're going to get up out of here. All right. So let's just go ahead and jump into this thing because that is what we do. Thank you guys out there for checking us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course, Twitter. As we have now surpassed 13,000 followers. Thank you for your continued support of the vision. Make sure you go out there and like and subscribe and follow and press the bell on YouTube so you can make sure you get all brand new content. All right, Marisa, we need to find out a fun fact about you that little to no people know about.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a lot of people know, but before I had moved here to Texas, I had a bakery for 10 years. I love to bake.
Really?
Yes. And I'm not talking about box. I'm talking about from scratch.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be out. We'll be out there this weekend. Peanut butter cookies is my favorite, and Patrice likes oatmeal raisin. Go ahead.
Oatmeal raisin is actually one of the favorite things I like to make.
Oh,
you see that match made in heaven right there? All right, so we got the baker and Natalie. You're up next, ma'am. Give us a fun fact that little to no people know about NGS.
I plan on doing it this spring and summer, but used to grow tomatoes and chilies and things like that. I think I really need to get back into practicing my green thumb, and that's going to be something that I will be doing this spring and summer.
Okay. Tomatoes. I am a beast when it comes to making fried green tomatoes. So we got the baker and we got the tomato maker. So yeah, when you get that going, we'll be there. Carolyn Trouble One Jones. Give everybody a fun fact that little to no people or little. I can't every time I get to the third person, I mess the question up. But you heard it the first two times, so go ahead and give it to us.
Well, I don't know if little to no people know about this, but I like to make people laugh, so I'm a jokester. So I'm always doing something to make people laugh because I think people should always laugh. And that makes their day. You never know what people are going through. So I'm a jokester.
And I can witness to that because ain't nothing like Carolyn Jones, let me tell you. All right, let's see. Kimberly. Fun fact.
I like to skate. I'm sorry.
roller
Nobody knows
skate or
that.
ice skate?
Yeah,
Roller skating.
So do you have the roller blades?
No, I have actually skates. No rollerblades.
Aha. Okay,
So I do like to do that. I do enjoy it.
So we got a baker, a tomato maker, a jokester, a skater, and Patrice. Oh my God, I need to brace myself for this answer. The last year we did this, she came out of left field, y'all. I needed therapy for the entire rest of the year.
It was
Patrice,
therapeutic for me.
yeah, There, go ahead, please. I'm braced.
All right. Fun fact about me that little to no one knows is that I met my husband on a dating app.
That's good.
That's
Nice.
beautiful.
That is.
Yeah.
And let me
Oh.
add a little to that. I was only on it for the first week, the first trial week.
Wow.
I didn't, for the first trial, and I met my husband.
Nice.
Who's that loser?
During
I
the
was
trial
really
period.
The
in
All
the
trial
right.
period.
What the heck did you see in that joker?
It wasn't what I saw; it's what God saw.
Hello.
That's right. That's right.
So sweet.
See, now you can't even rebuttal to what she said because let that spirit marinate in your spirit.
That's right.
Obviously, you don't know me very well, do you?
Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up.
You don't know me very well. That's what Bugs Bunny used to say. She don't know me very well, do she? Okay. Well, that's sweet, baby, and I ain't got no money. So here we go. You ain't getting no money today. Can I give a fun fact about myself?
Get it.
Sure.
Okay. Don't laugh, all right? When we lived in California all those years ago, I was one of those ones that would do anything I could to impress a girl. So this girl gave me a bead, like a BB, and said, I bet you won't put this in your nose. And guess what I did?
Oh, Lord.
I put it in my nose. And I had to be taken to the hospital, Kaiser Hospital off West MacArthur Boulevard in West Oakland, California. And we were there for a good little while. And I remember my dad saying, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to
Wow.
beat you. It got lodged like between my.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
It was up there.
I don't know if that's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing at
And
me?
years later, Patrice came along on a trial, waiting out.
Exactly.
Well,
And rescued him.
Who
The
knew?
rest is history.
well, I mean, I don't know about the rescuing part because that was like 3 decades prior to that.
She said the rest.
The rest is history. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, enough humor. Enough humor. Let's get into this. I want to ask you guys some questions because I have plenty of them. Like I said, we're not going to get to all of them. Patrice, you are first on the docket. This is court, people's court, that is. So let's talk. Let's get real. Give us, everybody that's out there watching, and everybody that's here on the panel, what kind of advice would the current Patrice give the 21-year-old Patrice?
Oh, we're jumping right into it.
Oh, we are.
Okay. So let's say the current Patrice would probably tell 21-year-old Patrice there's no rush to be perfect, because being perfect is not something that you can attain, but you can try every day. And I think at 21, I wanted everything perfect, neat, to fit in a box. And, with that, when you try to have perfection, you don't win because no one's perfect.
That's true.
And I think when you do that, you put a lot of restrictions on yourself. You make yourself feel like you're not good enough if you don't succeed. And I think I would tell myself, no worries, no worries.
Hakuna Matata, as the Lion King has made an appearance on, this is the Ballers Report, but not Ballers of Sports, Ballers of Life. And this is the Women's Celebration Show, episode 4. Let me say something to you about perfection. There's nothing wrong there's everything wrong with trying to be perfect, but there is nothing wrong with the relentless pursuit of perfection. I told you, ladies that don't know, I told my wife, we've been married for 10 and a half years. I told her way back when that I was going to relentlessly pursue loving her perfectly. Although I know I would never get there, the pursuit of it is what counts the most.
Right.
Okay, Carolyn, let's hear it. Let's hear something that the current Carolyn would tell the 21-year-old Carolyn.
Well, the current Carolyn would tell the 21-year-old Carolyn to not be afraid. I was always, and I was kind of like Patrice too. It's like, I got to do it the right way. I got to make sure I'm doing it. Or when I'm around certain people, I have to act a certain way. So I was very timid and I would draw back. So now I would tell her to be bold, be yourself, do what you want to do, and do not shrink back and shrink down. And there's nothing wrong with this. Like Patrice was saying, there's nothing wrong with failing. That was one of my biggest fears, was that I would fail at anything I tried to do. So I didn't try to do it. So this time I would tell that 21-year-old, go for it, because life, you only get to live it once. So you need to do, and you don't want to go back and say, well, I wished I had a done. And then you're regretting that you didn't do something that you may have attained and would have been very happy at doing.
Absolutely. I think the book that we all read says, go boldly to the throne of grace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't church, and I ain't no preacher, but here we go. MT, my sissy from another missy, my sister from another mister. What would the current Marisa tell the 21-year-old Marisa about the Detroit Lions? Okay, never mind. Not about
there we go.
Yeah. But go ahead.
I would go back and tell my 21-year-old self to stop letting people take your confidence and your peace. The 21-year-old Marisa was lost and let a lot of people disrupt her joy and try to make her something that she was not, and claim and say things what she was not. Even though I grew up in church and I was raised with, God-fearing parents and ministers, when you're out there in the real world and you're not under the umbrella of the word and what your parents instill in you, sometimes the world can creep in there and label you something to try to disrupt your peace and disrupt who you are. And I allowed that 21-year-old to happen. Now that I'm 51, I mean, you can't take away my joy, and I know who I am and whose I am in this life. So that's something that, I wish I had that back then, but it was a lot of good people that came into my life that reminded me of that. And so I'm grateful to God that, it was a wonderful reminder and a shift for me to remember who I am in the eyes of God.
Absolutely. And it's funny how decades of time can go by that will change that for I can't say everybody, but for most of us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kimmy, 21-year-old self, current Kim. What would the current Kim say to the 21-year-old Kim?
Well, the current Kim would let the 21-year-old Kim know that just to keep pushing, just keep pushing forward, stay focused on the goals, get your emotions out of certain situations that I was in. So I was very emotional, took everything personally, and I'm not like that anymore. Stay positive, and the most important thing I should have put first was just get to know you. Getting to know yourself. And I think I did not really know myself until, 21, you're still young, but you want to know a lot about you. So I didn't get a chance to do that at all. So I would let myself know that for sure.
Getting to know you.
Getting to know me, myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I feel a quote or a mission coming from that. That's big. All right, Natalie, 21-year-old Natalie. What is she hearing from the current Natalie?
I would say just to trust the process, not to be too eager to
That's a good
go
one.
through, life experiences just to kind of
Mhm.
just trust the process. I think a lot of us are naturally at that age compare each other to
Mhm.
our, high schoolmates or college or even our peers in the workplace. And I think
Mhm.
it's really easy for us to try to jump ahead. But
Mhm.
our path is our path, and we just need to trust the process,
Mhm.
our ups, downs, mistakes, achievements, things like that. So I would
That's a
tell
good one.
myself, just trust the process and enjoy the ride, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I
and
wish we would celebrate each other more now.
Oh yeah,
As adults, as women,
I
whatever
agree.
field that we're trying to pursue and whatever job that we're in, or we're CEO of our own, companies. I wish we would celebrate each other more
I
mhm,
agree.
instead
Totally
of it
agree.
being, unfortunately, us as women of color, they see us as drama filled,
Mhm.
name calling, berating people.
Mhm.
And the ones that are out there doing it and hustling, like us on this panel, it's unfortunately being overshadowed by what the world, the society sees on television,
The drama.
Exactly.
the
That's yeah.
drama. And
Yeah.
they as soon as we walk into the store, and ladies, I mean, I'm sorry, Willie, for taking over, because Natalie made such a great point, is that we walk into a store or a restaurant or something like that, and automatically we'll get stereotyped
Yep.
for being cheap or being something that we're not, and already pre-labeled because of the fact of
Mhm.
what people see of the Black woman being portrayed on television. So
Exactly.
that just reminded me of that we just need to celebrate each other more, and
Mhm.
build each other up
yeah.
authentically.
I agree.
And you, Marisa and Natalie, you guys have both, with your answers have segued directly into the next question, because as I said in the intro, they say it's a man's world, but it would be nothing without a woman's touch. Um, I think it was Nikki Haley that said that if you want something done, if you want something talked about, tell a man to do it. If you want something done, tell a woman to do it. So let's start back around. Natalie, I'm gonna go to you. What advice would you give, or what advice would you have for women who are struggling to find their voice and assert themselves in male dominated spaces, whether it be at work, in relationships, or in leadership?
I think being able to trust yourself is very important because that kind of builds your self confidence. Obviously, let's just say, if your career field, it's just like you mentioned, it's a very male dominated, industry. You really have to trust yourself as far as being able to be the voice in the room. And it is a little bit, it's hard to answer that question because sometimes women of color in the corporate environment, if how they portray themselves, how they speak, how they look, how they carry themselves can come off as having an attitude or
Mhm.
being
That
not
part.
assertive but aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Aggressive.
And
Mhm.
so it is a thin line to walk, but also too, I heavily believe, depending on the corporate environment that you're in, you may fit in that environment or you may not. If you don't fit in that environment, then you need to go elsewhere. And I think you have to trust yourself to know when to pull that trigger to leave and to, go into a better environment. So I would just say self trust in yourself.
And here, let me piggyback on that, because I am a man that's full of quotes, as and Patrice might say he's full of something. All right. Um, don't allow your environment to change who you are.
Mhm.
Allow who you are to change your
Change
environment.
environment.
That's
That's awesome.
good. That is
That's
good.
a good one.
No charge, no charge.
I'm
But
letting that
Kim,
marinate. That was really
Keep
good.
them coming.
That's a
all right, Kim, come on with the same question. I'll read it to you again if you need me to.
well. No, I think I'm gonna piggyback with Natalie. it's like building your confidence. You have to have confidence and believe in yourself, and just note that you do have a voice. You know, it's that famous saying, you know, it's how you say it. So just have that confidence, believe in yourself, and just note that you have a voice the whole way through.
Marisa?
Oh, Natalie, you opened up such a wonderful conversation that many, including myself for years, struggled with, was trusting myself, because I let the chaos and the noise come in and disrupt. And I think a lot of us as women, as Black women, we allow that to happen because we sometimes, unfortunately, settle.
Yeah.
We settle. My mother, a quick story, she was a prayer minister for years, and she had home prayer meetings, and at the prayer meetings, she handed out everybody pieces of bread, just little bitty pieces of bread, little bitty things. And she had told the ladies in the group, she goes, "Okay, I gave y'all little bitty ounces, little bitty pieces of bread." She goes, "I need you all to make a whole sandwich with it." And they looked at her. They're like, "Angela, there's no way in the world that we can't make a little sandwich with it." And she goes, "Well, why can't you?" She goes, "Well, you just only gave us a little crumb. I don't understand why you have us make sandwiches." She goes, "Exactly. Why are we settling for crumbs when we can have the whole loaf?" True. When it comes to everything that we go for, or when we go before our bosses and ask for that raise or that promotion, or, you know, trying to make a move out of, you know, a job that you're unhappy with, why are we settling for crumbs instead of making the move, or, you know, having that business and pursuing that dream that you always wanted, you know, when we can have that whole loaf of that opportunity, of that dream that we want fulfilled. So that is what my mantra that I've taken since I've heard that when I was 19 years old to this day, is a reminder of, you know, I know that I am valuable, and I know that I am of self-worth. And I pray that women in all walks of life, they feel that too.
Awesome.
Excuse me. All right, Carolyn.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback off of everyone too. That we do need to be bold. We have to be confident in ourselves. And I've experienced with my current supervisor and a supervisor I had before, that both men. The current one I have now, because I at this age I speak my mind. I'm not stepping back.
Amen.
I'm not shrinking back. I'm not being ashamed of who I am. I know when I know my job, I know my job. So he was intimidated by the fact that I was not like the rest of the teammates, where they just, okay, whatever you say. I'm not that person. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And I brought it to him, and he would say, well, and we had a one-on-one, and he said, well, you know, your teammates are afraid of you. I say, for what? I say, how are they afraid of me? And he said, because you know, you speak up all the time, and you're always in the meetings. I say, well, they should not be intimidated by me. And I don't believe it's me that there is not my teammates. It's you that's intimidated by me, because I didn't say it. I was professional and said, because I don't just take whatever you tell me. I challenge you, and you're having an issue with challenging me. So at this, I had to let him know I'm not going to step back. And he started leaving me alone, because I do challenge him. And now I really actually gained his respect, because I didn't step back and shrink down and let him just tell me anything, especially when I know what I'm talking about. And that was the issue. He was used to, he promotes himself by making other people feel little. That's a pet peeve of mine. Do not make yourself look good by making somebody else look bad. And I was the wrong person, and he found that out. And so we actually have a pretty decent relationship now.
Let's go, Miss Carolyn. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
That's because he's scared of you.
Probably.
But seriously, two things I took from that. Number one, the very moment that we try to make ourselves look bigger by cutting someone else down, we instantly become smaller than them.
Yeah.
And then the second one was strength can be misinterpreted in so many different ways. And you have to have a strong personality, and I mean that in the most respectful way possible, in order to deal with other strong personalities. Because if we allow it, they will bully us.
Yeah.
And bullies don't like to be bullied. So all right, Patrice, I'm bracing myself again.
Okay. So as women, what we tend to do is encourage others. We lift up other people, we lift up the people around us, we lift up our spouses and all the people around us. But what we don't do is do the same for ourselves. So what I say to do in situations like that, pursue what you want to do. Go after that. There's no reason why anyone else should come before you. Think of yourself and pursue that for yourself. You want to pursue it. You want to be persistent, and then you want to persevere. And then with that, you're going to get exactly what you want. So make sure you think about yourself in every aspect, because that's what I've learned as, I don't know what you're doing, Willie. And that's what I learned as not my 21-year-old self, but my 50-something-year-old self, is that I have to think of me and think about what I want to do. That doesn't mean you can't help the people around you, but you don't put yourself in the back of the bus.
Or like you like to do sometimes, throw somebody under the bus. That would be me, of course. Nobody else. She only throws me under the bus. No, but seriously, all of you ladies have, and we got to move this along because time flies when you're having fun. And I got 2 more questions and then we're going to get up out of here. In order for us to become what we want to be, we must unbecome what we currently are.
We'll take it.
That went over y'all's head like.
We'll take it.
Yeah. Okay. I look, I'm gonna be like Pastor NQ. I thought I'd get more amens than that. All right. So here we keep going throughout this wonderful show, and you guys have been terrific. Let's talk about self-care. Natalie? No, I'm sorry, Patrice. We're gonna go back around the horn this way. Patrice, what role does self-care play in your life? And how do you prioritize taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being?
Well, self-care is something that I had to learn to do. I did not start doing self-care as a mother. I put everyone else in front of me. I want to make sure that my children are okay, my husband are okay, and I used to put myself at the back burner. But in doing that, what you don't realize that you're doing, you're burning yourself out. You're not taking care of yourself. And what I like to remember is like when you get on the plane and they're describing if the plane goes down and the oxygen mask comes out, you put that on yourself first before you try to aid or help someone else. And so for myself, the number one thing I think as women, we should remember is to prioritize self first. In any way that looks like to you, you do that for yourself. That may be getting your nails done. That may be taking a bubble bath. That may be saying no. It's okay. Because that's prioritizing self.
Yes. And I am so in love with that answer because self-care is not selfish.
That's right.
I think we all have learned that over the years. Okay. Carolyn Jones.
I have learned, like as Patrice said, I have learned to make myself number one. And just like you just said, being self-care is not selfish. And I had to kind of start learning to be a little selfish in order to take care of myself. Because if I don't take care of myself, I'm no good to take care of anyone else. I don't care how much I want to. If I'm all burnt out, I have nothing to pour into anyone else, then I'm no good. So I've had to learn to take care of myself first, and then I can take care of others or help others. I have even learned that with my prayer life. I used to pray for everybody else first, and then I had just a little time left to pray for myself. Now I pray for myself first, that the Lord
Mhm.
strengthen me so that I can go out and strengthen
Yeah.
others and build up
Yeah.
other people. So I have
Mhm.
had to learn that I need to take care of myself first before I can start really and be of any help to anyone else.
That's true.
And again, self-care is not selfish. All right, Marisa.
I 100% agree with what you ladies have said. This is something that I'm still learning about because my work ethic is through the roof. I was literally forced into self care when the pandemic happened because I was furloughed from my job. So it's just like, okay, you have all this time in the world to revamp who you are and the things that you love to do, but you can't go outside and do them. What are you going to do? So one of the things that I started doing, was doing self-care and giving myself a manicure and giving myself a facial and relaxing and reading a good book and all of that. And I found, especially in spending time with my family, and I found during the pandemic when all the chaos and the stories coming out of how the divorce rate went up, my husband and I actually drew closer to one another. Still to this day, we I mean, literally was just like two teenagers just giggling, but we just trapped in the house, can't go nowhere. So, he was an essential worker, but, when he got home, dinner was provided and we had conversation and talked about how his day was and everything else. And that was very therapeutic for me because I was like, I don't want to, when the world opens back up and I go back into work and all that I lose all of this that we built. And so it's still, I continue to still balance that out and find that fine balance for my family and myself and the things that I love to do. And it's changed me and changed my mental and changed my heart so much now over the past 4 years. I'm a completely different person. I don't take going places, trips, and those things for granted anymore as I used to. I'm in love with my husband more so than ever. I mean, when he walks in through the door, I chase him around the apartment. There's so much apartment you can run around. I chase him around it with no shame. It's just beautiful. I'm so grateful to God the lessons that He showed me during that low point in my life in 2020 to what beauty came out of it now 4 years later.
That's awesome.
Chasing around. Man, I
Yeah.
tell you right now, if I chase somebody around the house right now, I am going to need anterior cruciate ligament surgery, otherwise known as a torn ACL.
Listen,
All
they
right.
just gotta come to you, I mean, you just make it fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm the dude that sprained his ankle just getting up out of my chair one time.
Oh no.
Now the whole world knows. All right, Kimmy, come on with it.
Well, pretty much the same. Basically, self-care is most definitely a skill. I feel like I've mastered the skill right now. Patrice is right. You put everybody first, your husband, kids, you're last. I was like, we have this much room of ourselves, so we don't get a chance to do anything. So most definitely that was a skill that was learned from me. For me, basically just getting up in the morning and meditating. I get up at between 5 and 6 and I'm just praying. And that's my meditation time right there. So basically just trying to get to know myself. Like I said before, my 21-year-old self, just get to know me more. And that actually helps really good. So
Very good.
yeah.
Natalie G. Smith.
I agree that it is a learned skill, self-care. Me personally, I think as I've gotten, older, my self-care has changed. For like 20s, self-care was different. 30s, it's different now. 40s is probably gonna be something different. Whether, in 2 years, 3 years, it may be something like waking up in the morning and meditating or journaling. But for me, I know it has definitely changed. 20s, I would, go get a pedicure, manicure, things like that, go brunch, things like that. But now
True.
it's more like walking the dogs in the morning, just,
There we
sitting
go.
outside, putting my feet on the grass in the backyard,
Yeah.
going to go lift weights. So it's changed, and it's probably going to change a year from now, 5 years from now. But I think it's very important that we understand that we need that time to ourselves, and also getting to know ourselves. What do we need right now? And how can we find certain ways, old ways, new ways, things like that, to help ourselves to feel re-energized.
Ecclesiastes, there's a season for everything. Seasons change. And we change with the seasons.
Yep.
And if we ourselves don't change with the seasons, we are actually putting our own selves behind the A ball. So
That's true. Yeah.
all right, couple more and we're gonna bounce. I haven't gotten to the crying part yet, and here we go. Natalie, give us a personal her story that you've had to shake back from. One significant life event.
Geez. I didn't think about this question. You might have to come back to me.
Coming back to Natalie. Kimberly, give us a personal her story. One significant life event that you've had to shake back from.
Oh my gosh, I have a couple, but I know we're on a short time schedule. So 2013. Yeah, 2013. Found out I was pregnant, and I carried the pregnancy all the way to 8 months, and I lost the son. Yeah. So it was very, when I say very difficult, it was very, and I would not wish that on my worst enemy. So that was very hard to go in a hospital to have a baby and come out with nothing. So that was the most, but I did my shake back, but it took a while. Spiritually, I became more connected after that happened. Unbelievable connected. And a lot of people just don't know that story. I share it to some ladies that have gone through it like a test. I'm giving my testimony. And if I can bounce back, anybody can. I have a beautiful daughter. 2 years later, I got pregnant with her. She's 18. She's in college. So, but during that time, that's the most traumatic thing. And the most hurtful thing is that I had to have him vaginally, not a C-section or anything like that. I had to have him vaginally. And that was very, 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 very hard.
As a man, I can't even begin to have any sort of imagination about that. But as a man, I will tell you this. Never let anybody judge or never let anybody tell you when you're ready to shake back. That is not for anybody else to determine.
Yeah.
And if people have not had a hand in writing your script, they should never try to judge your story.
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly.
So shout out to you for the transparency, and that's, I can only imagine. I can't even imagine. All right, Marisa, I know you only got a couple minutes left. So I'm gonna let you answer the question, and then right behind that, I want you to shout out your information so people can, check you out.
Absolutely. My shake back was in 2018. 2010, when I met the love of my life that I'm currently married to now. Before him, I was married. I was in a very mental abusive, not physical abusive, but just mentally abusive marriage my first time around. The individual was on drugs, would be missing from time to time. I can relate to Kimberly's story of a loss of a child, because that happened during the stress and the trauma that I went through, and did not think that I would ever find love again, or that love would find me. And my dad gave me such amazing advice when everything was finalized with my divorce. I had to serve papers while he was serving time in prison. And I felt that freedom when I walked out of the court in Lansing, Michigan in the summer of 2009. He said, Marisa, just take a year off and just, love yourself, begin to date yourself and know who you are again, begin to rebuild the wall that was broken down inside of your heart. Your heart was shattered. Begin to heal your heart and heal your spirit and heal your mind. And so when I did that, it turned into the joy of traveling, the joy of my life, the love of that I had God first, and that everything started to be clear for me. It wasn't cloudy. It wasn't filled with dark days. That I allowed joy to enter in and the sorrow to leave. And so when that happened, in comes this handsome man on location in Miamisville, Centerville, Ohio, when I am out there opening up a restaurant for a company at the time. And it was two hostesses that set us up on a date. And I told them, I said, I'm not here to date nobody. I'm here to be all about my business, about to get my money and move on to the next city. And come to find out, he wasn't supposed to come to that restaurant that day. He was supposed to be on a date with another female.
Wow.
So it ended up being where he came there, we exchanged numbers, and we went on that date. And I was like, I'll come back, and we'll, probably revisit and everything else. Again, I lived in Michigan. He lived in Ohio. And he said he knew that night that he was going to marry, that I was supposed to be his wife.
Wow.
And I was like, that's cute. That's real nice.
Love it.
Sure that you say that to all the ladies all the time, but And then
bling bling. All right, Marisa, go ahead and shout out all the information. I know it's time. The time has expired for your appearance.
Yes. Again, thank you so much, Patrice and Willie, the ladies on the panel. I'm so grateful to meet and have met all of you all. And I know that, we are going to stay connected. And I thank God for, our paths crossing. I am the host of podcast. It will be back on April 2nd with full episodes. We're on a hiatus right now with things moving and happening, going on. But I am on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I am on all podcast platforms. I have a Facebook page under the same name. My podcast, which I've had the pleasure of having Willie on the show as we chat about, we are fans of sports, pop culture, and entertainment. I am also a correspondent, which I'm getting ready to go and record a segment for the Kenny Burns Show. Myself and the incredible New Jersey's finest, Monty Moss, we record a sports segment. We're going to be talking about, obviously, all things the 68 tournament, but we do certain sports segments that come out every single Wednesday. And I'm also on another podcast, Death, Taxes, and Sports podcast with the incredible trio of Gary, Jeff, and Ben. So I am so blessed. I am so honored to for a person that had a speech problem growing up, that would have never thought that she would be doing a podcast or let alone shows. I'm just, so blessed to not only do what I do, but to also share my love for everybody that's watching as well as this platform. So thank you so much, Willie and Patrice, again for the invitation.
Thank you, Marisa. We enjoyed you.
And we'll touch base down the road, Sissy, because we got some unfinished business.
Yes, sir.
All
Good
right.
night, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Take care of
Bye.
yourself.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, Carolyn, let's get that personal her story, one significant life event that you've had to shake back from.
Mine is actually was in 2006 when I lost my husband. I lost him to cancer. Um, Even though I knew he had cancer, it's still different when it really hits.
Mhm.
Because he had been in the hospital and he was actually supposed to be getting ready to come home that following Monday. And he actually passed on Thanksgiving Day.
Mm,
So Thanksgiving Day sometimes is a little challenging for me, but by the grace of God, I have made it through. He's brought me through. And I think you gave advice that nobody tells you how to grieve or how long to grieve unless they've been in your shoes. And that was one of the things I have shared with other women that became widows. Because I had several friends shortly after me that became that. And it took me 2 years. I tell people it took me 2 years to his bed in the bed. I would make up the bed and lay his clothes. He had left some clothes, and I would lay it right back the same way. And I did that for 2 years, and I had to bounce back from that because I really felt guilty that I was still alive and he wasn't.
mm,
And so I actually went to a counselor because my job allowed that, and I took advantage of that therapy. And I went, and then I also talked to my pastor, and he was the one that really helped me say, "Hey, you're still here. You're here for a reason.
Mhm.
He would not want you to do that." So I did have to bounce back from that, and I did. But I've made it, but I have my moments, especially Thanksgiving Day because he actually passed on that day. So,
Oh.
but you can do it. You can, with the help of God, you
Mhm.
can make it through it. And so I've made it through thus far.
That's right.
I think the book that we read, or I know the book we read, it says, um, my strength is made perfect in your weakness.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. Natalie, are you back? But you're muted. Back, but muted. Unmute. Unmute again. Unmute. There we go.
Yeah, I couldn't hear anyone at first, so I had to jump out and jump back
Okay. Do,
in.
do you have your answer?
It's it's really hard to come in, to say anything after everything that the ladies have said and stated. I my I guess come shake back story is like so small compared to, you know,
Let me stop you right
everybody.
there. Let me stop you right there.
Don't shrink.
Let me
Do
let
not
me stop
shrink
you.
back.
Mm-mm.
We're not doing that. Your story is your story. That's why it's your
Mhm.
personal her story. And just because it may seem like a grasshopper to somebody else, it could be a giant for somebody else.
Mhm.
So
True.
don't allow yourself to shrink yourself because somebody needs to hear whatever it is you have to say.
It's your
True.
truth.
That's true.
All right. I guess moving back to Central Texas to be close to my mom and my sister after 10 years of being in Dallas and Houston kind of made me realize as far as like trusting the process because I was always chasing my career and always chasing something bigger and wanting more and more and which is perfectly fine. Like that's okay to chase your dreams. But in the midst of that, I think I forgot about the family aspect of life. So
Mm.
coming back to Central Texas and Austin, being near my mom and my sister, it was almost foreign to me, but it was such a warm feeling to be, close in proximity wise to my mom and my sister. And during that time, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. She had to go through
Mm.
chemo, radiation. So, and it just happened to be that I came back to Central Texas and she got diagnosed a couple months later.
Mm.
It makes you realize timing is everything.
Mhm.
So it kind of reminded me of how important family can be. So
For sure.
family's back on my front burner, I guess I can say. Just, I guess the timing of it, and how everything kind of fell into place.
Mm-hmm.
How's your mom?
She's doing good. She's cancer free. They're keeping an eye on it, of course. She had to go through chemo. She didn't have to do surgery, but she did have to do radiation. She has to do some, monthly injections for, it's kind of like a chemo form to make sure the cancer stays away. But she's doing really well.
Good.
Praise the
Good.
Lord. Now, piece of advice for you and everybody else. And then that even includes myself. When you look at a stove, right? You look at the eyes on the stove. The ones on the back are smaller, right? The ones on the front are larger. I need you to get this in terms of this analogy. You said it went from the back to the front. It's on the burner that is the biggest one because it holds the most stuff, whether it's water or grease or whatever. So you take that out of the large part or the large pot that's on the front burner, the big burner,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever's in there is your family.
Right. Yeah.
Patrice,
Yes.
give me a personal story. And disclaimer, I cannot be involved in your HERstory shake back.
Well, when you say personal story of a shake bag, I have several. I mean, throughout my life, I'm thinking about, oh, okay, this was a shake bag, this was a shake bag. But I have a story that not a lot of people know about. And I used to be afraid to share it because it was something that I was ashamed of. And what it is that my kids, I have 3 beautiful kids. We have 5 kids together, but I have 3 kids that I birthed. But I was married to their dad, who was mentally, physically abusive. And I lived with that for 21 years. And I was really ashamed of it. I didn't want anyone to know. My family didn't know. I was really just in a bubble by myself. My work life was great, but no one really knew what my home life was. And my home life was just a series of making sure I said the right thing, I did the right thing, and I didn't create anything that would cause trouble, because if I did, it would be trouble. Um, and in 2013, we're talking about 2013. In 2013, I eventually divorced my kid's dad, and we had just gotten into a relationship where we could co-parent without any hostility or anger. And things were getting better for our children's sake. And he was murdered. He was murdered tragically by his girlfriend's son.
Wow.
And 2013 happened to be the same year. I met my now husband in 2012, and we got married in 2013. But when you're talking about shake back, the shame of it and the guilt, I said I wasn't going to get emotional, but the shame and the guilt that I felt was hard to shake back from. I felt that a lot of it was my fault, as most, women who are in these type of situations feel. And I also felt like it was my fault that I stayed. Now, did I stay for the kids? Did I stay to make things better? Either way, it was something I had to shake back from for not only myself, but for my children. And so it's a ongoing process. And I think that, I've gotten stronger from it. I've had great support and understanding from my husband. And during that time, he allowed me to mourn and grieve in such a way. I even had a best friend at the time who even said something that I can't believe that you're actually shedding tears and upset while you're getting ready to get married to this guy and you're shedding tears for somebody else. But what you have to know is that, this was 21 years of being together, 21 years of, trying to make things work. We had three beautiful children together, and it's all a process. Life is a process, and a life is full of trials and errors. And I had to learn to shake back and learn to forgive myself for not giving myself the grace to just grow and learn and to really see myself first. So my shake back story isn't the tragic end. My shake back story isn't what I went through. My shake back story is being able to talk about it today and to let women know that it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. It's not anyone's fault. That you can still hold your head up high and understand that life happens and things just happen, but you grow from them. I wouldn't take back anything that I went through. I wouldn't take it away because what happened to me grew me, and I'm a better person for that. And that's my shake back story.
Yeah.
Y'all are so quiet.
No, that was.
Yeah,
I understand that.
I understand. Yes.
It's like crystal clear. I understand.
I actually can relate to it.
Lots of people can, and lots of people wouldn't think that. Oh, you're always so bubbly. You're always laughing, and that's just who I am. But you have to laugh through your mistakes too.
Yeah.
Right. Have to keep laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, back to you, Willie.
I just got a revelation about our relationship and our marriage right now, just now, that we're going to talk about whenever the show is done. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know you were gonna go there, and it was hard, and it the thing is about all of you guys. Let me say this: the thing about your shakeback story is that it ain't over. It's not over. It's still being written. Natalie, I need you to give everybody a word of encouragement to the panel, to me, to the world.
I would say definitely take everything day by day. Enjoy your experiences with what's around you, who's around you. If it's just a beautiful sunny day in the mid 60s in Texas, or if it's a, butterfly coming across your window, if it's just a funny text message from a friend or a loved one, I think we should all appreciate that. And even though it's so small, we need to appreciate those little things.
Kimmy?
Basically, keep pushing. There's no such word as failure. So I always keep that in the back of my mind. I'm not going to fail. Another thing, too, we talked about self-care, and always stay a student. I think that's hard for some. Not on this panel, but be teachable. Always stay a student. Learn as much as you can. So no matter what place you are or anything like that, just always stay a student and become teachable.
Trouble one. Come on, Carolyn.
I would just say live life to the fullest. And when I say live life to the fullest, it depends on what your fullest is. And fullest means whatever makes you happy. So you should live life and not live it in fear, but live it to you're gonna be joyful every day. So whatever your fullest is what makes you happy. So that's the way you should live your life so that you will be happy.
Better half.
I want to encourage everyone to remember that balance is beauty. So if you can balance your thoughts, balance your things that you do, your job, your children, your family, your spouse, balance your relationship with Jesus, you can balance your life and you can enjoy. So balance is beauty. Find your beauty.
Well,
Love it.
we are up against the clock. I want to definitely thank you guys again for taking time out of your busy schedules to do this. My prayer is that we all learn something about ourselves first, and that we were able to encourage somebody across the world, that we were able to save a life, and that we were able to just have the positive impact that's necessary. It's Women's History Month, but women are to be celebrated every day. And admittedly, I am the biggest shortcomer of celebrating women every day, to include the one that runs this household. So thank you, ladies, again. You all gonna get this for your transparency and your candidness. And I want to say this before we get out of here. Just because there's a box in front of you doesn't mean that it belongs to you. We have a tendency to put each other in boxes that do not even fit. That includes our relationship with our Savior, our significant others, our family members. Natalie hit on that. Our friends, whatever. Let's not allow ourselves to be so harsh, hard-hearted, judgmental, and any of those other things that are the exact opposite of what unity is, to bring us down. And keep on being who you are. It is your life, Natalie. It is your life, Kimberly. It is your life, Carolyn. It is your life, Patrice. It is your life that brings life to life. And I need y'all to remember that. So with that being said, it's time for us to go. I want to thank you guys again for your hearts to do this. The Lord showed me you guys whenever we put this together, and I'm glad you accepted the assignment. So, with that being said, for Patrice, for Carolyn, for Marisa, for Natalie, for Kimmy, this is Willie. Y'all take care of each other. Y'all hug each other. Y'all love each other. I promise it's gonna be all right. Yes. And we're gonna holler at y'all again real soon. Peace. We out.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Great job, ladies.
Thank
Bye bye.
you. Bye bye.